Okay, hi, welcome on this Sunday's evening. Today I'm going to finish my, I want to finish the topic that I started a few days ago. I would like to show you how to connect to MySQL database and how to, okay, maybe let's get back to the beginning. I would like to show you how to prepare the complete solution consists of the client part, client plugin, server plugin, and the solution for how to create MySQL connection from C#. Okay, and I would like to split this video into two parts. In the first part, I would like to show you the example as fast as possible. Okay, and in the second part, I will answer to the question. I will answer for questions that if you ask me something. Okay. You can start. You can find today's example on my GitLab. So I pasted a link to the description, and I also pasted it to the chat. Okay, so let's start. Okay, first I'm going to create a branch for today. I'm gonna call the project MySQL chat store. Okay, so the branch is ready. I'm gonna push it to the master that you could check it out. Okay. So now I'm ready to start coding. Okay, let's run FiveM server. Okay, let's create a new project. I told you that I had 2 months break of streaming, so I had to warm up a little. So that's why I'm starting each project from the scratch. Okay. This is a very important thing that you have to choose class library .NET Framework. I'm gonna create one solution with two projects, client and server part. I'm gonna put it in sandbox. And I think that I add also a current date at the beginning. Okay, let's create another project for server code. Now I'm gonna configure my solution in the way that I want to build a server part as a first project. Then I'm going to build a client project, and I'm going to create build events that will copy the result to my FiveM server. Okay, first of all, I would like to make my server server project dependent on I'm going to create my client project dependent on server, so I can do it just by clicking here. As you can see, that's my current build order. So the server project will be built at first, and then my client project will be built. Okay, now let's configure those projects. At first, I'm gonna add extension here, like .NET. And I do it the same on the client project. Okay, now it's time to configure build events. So because my server project is built as first, so I'm going to delete. Okay, I wanted to copy artifacts, results artifacts to my FiveM FiveM resources folder here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the directory if it exists. I will give you all of those scripts because I will put it to the repository. I will do it in a few minutes, okay? Okay, so I'm going to delete my result directory. Let's call it MySQL store, MySQL chat store. Okay, I'm going to add those scripts for you. As you can see, I added the script here, so you will be able to copy my bytecode later. To copy, to use, feel free to use it. Okay, so what next? Okay, at the beginning, I'm going to delete the target directory, then I'm going to prepare the new one. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do I'm going to, as you can see, the result path or the result path of compiled artifacts is bin/debug. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put both of I'm going to change both of the targets to the one. Let me show you. I'm going to change all configurations for the server project, and I'm going to put the result artifacts just to one level up, and let's say build directory. And the same I'm going to do with the client project. So for all configurations, I would like to set the target directory or output directory to one level up build directory. Okay, what next? Because my client project is built as a second, so after a successful build, I'm going to copy the artifacts from the target directory, which is build to my target resource directory. But I think that here is wrong. I use different name. Yes, I use different name. So, okay, that's the correct name. Okay, so that's all. Okay, I think that now okay, let's build the solution. As you can see, server project was built as first, client project was built as the second. All of the artifacts were generated here, which is one level up, which is in my solution folder. Show you here. Okay, so all of the artifacts are here, and all of those 4 artifacts should be also copied to my target folder. And they are. Okay, that was the first part, the base configuration. I think that I could commit here, because it's a great point to it's a place when we start each plugin, so it's a great time to commit here. Okay, so let's stage all. Okay, I forgot about gitignore file, so let me find some okay, I don't have gitignore file here. Okay, I have one. It should be good. Yeah, it's okay. It's correct. So okay, there's a Okay, now there's less file than before. That's how my gitignore file looks like. I think that I can also add a build folder to skip. Okay, now the solution is pure. Okay, so let's commit. You can use this stage as a start point for every plugin in the future. Okay, what I'm going to do next is, let me think. What I'm going to do next is to prepare a simple server plugin and simple client plugin. And at the end, I'm going to create fx manifest.lua file, and I'm going to ensure that both of those plugins were loaded correctly. So that's the plan for the next 10 minutes, I think. Sorry, I'm drinking a lot. Okay, so let's start from the server part. What I'm going to do at first is to prepare I'm going to prepare a lib folder when I'm going to put some libraries. Those libraries were given from FiveM server directories. The first one comes from client part, and the second part comes from server part. And what I did is I just changed names of them because now they are more clear. Okay. I need to change my music because I cannot focus on the topic. Okay, I changed the music, so it should be better now. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to configure server project. I'm going to add a reference to server a citizen fx core server DLL file. Okay. Now the very important thing is to ensure that you set copy local to false. If you leave it true, the DLL file will be copied to the output directory, but we don't want to do this. Okay, and analogically we configure a client project analogically to the server one by adding reference. this time to client file. And as in previous project, you have to also set it to false. Okay, so we already added necessary dependencies to our project. It's time to create the basic scripts. So let's start from the server part, and let's call it, let's say, chat store server. You can change the name by pressing F2. Okay, let's create a constructor. To create a constructor, you can just select the name of the class and press Alt Return. And here we have the option generate constructor. Okay. The very important thing is that our server script should extend base script. Okay, and what we are going to do is just I'm going to add event listener to event handler or listener, depends. I'm going to add event listener on resource start, and I'm going to write some debug text in it. Okay, so event, to do that, we just add to event listeners map to key on resource start. We're going to add new action with parameter string with name on resource start. Okay, let's generate the method. Okay, in the first line, we should ensure that the started script is our script, is our resource. So we should check if get if API. Let me import. Okay, API get current resource name equals resource name. So if it doesn't equal, so we should return from the function. If it equals, we just write some debug message. We can add this $sign before quotation mark, not quotation. What do you call? It's a quote. Yes, before quote, and then we can use variables in our string. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write something like that. Resource, my resource name, loaded. That's my message. Okay, and I think that's all. Our server script is ready. I think that I made a mistake here. I should use I should write it in started from lower case. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the same with client part. So let's rename the class name by pressing F2, and let's call it chat store client. As you remember, we should extend base script. You can press Alt Enter to import the script. Now it's time to create a constructor by pressing Alt Enter. And analogically to the server part, we just we have to add event listener, but this time we want to add a different one called on client resource start. This time and the function also takes one string as a parameter. You can generate the function by pressing Alt return. Okay, and the same code here, which is if API get current resource name not equal does not equal resource name, just return. And in other case we just want to, okay, I'm gonna copy this line. Okay, now I think that we have already done both parts, I mean the server part and the client part. What we are going next is we're going to create a fx manifest.lua file, and I will show you something here, because there is a trap here. So let's try to create a new file using Microsoft Visual Studio. So just add and text file. Let's call it fx manifest.lua. I will okay, I need to check if I gave you copy command. Yes, I gave you. Okay. Okay, so let's create this file. So the first line is fx version. Okay, and now our server script. is server script is you can copy it from here or from output directory as you want. It should be the same. It should be the same name. It is the same name. Okay, it's here, so you can copy this name to our manifest file and client script. And now I will show you something. Okay, let's rebuild our project. And as you will see, our fx manifest won't be copied here because I forgot to mark it to be copied to output directory. To do this, you have to just click on the file here in the solution explorer and then just choose copy always. And let's rebuild the solution. As you can see, the file was copied to output directory, so it should be also copied here, and it is. And now I will show you some strange behavior. Maybe you already got it or not, but let's reload. Sorry, refresh. And as you can see, there is a message, resource loading for MySQL chat store failed, could not parse resource metadata, blah, 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 unexpected symbol near, and this strange signs. It means it usually happens, it's not only associated with FiveM, it's one of the common problem with some tools. The problem is that the file is encoded in UTF-8 with DOM, and this sign at the beginning of the file there is a invisible sign which we call DOM, and we need to get rid of it, and we can do this just by opening let's say my repository into sandbox chat store, and I'm going to open fx manifest in Notepad, and as you can see here, Notepad says that the file is encoded in UTF-8 with BOM. And what we are going to do, we are going just to change it into UTF-8. And we can now save the file. Okay. Now we are ready to rebuild our solution. And it should be loaded correctly, and it is. Okay, now it's start to test our very basic version of plugins. What we expect is we expect to see this message in the server console, and we expect to see this message in the client console. Okay, so let's start our add-on. As you can see, the message appeared, so our server resource was loaded correctly. Now it's time to ensure that our client resource will be also loaded correctly. So let's run FiveM. I need to close FiveM because when it's running in the background, it slows down all of other programs, and I don't know why. You can leave me some questions on the chat. I will answer to it later. And you can also give me some advices how to do my stream better, and you can also leave me some topics to prepare for you. Okay, when I press F8, I should... Okay, as you can see, there is... I wanted to say that when I press F8, I should see this message, and as you can see, there is the message, so everything works as I expected. So now it's time to close the game, because as I told you, it slows down my computer. Okay, so it's time to commit what we have done so far. So let's call it the second part. It is it's also a base version. Starting point, let's say 2. Base project configuration with okay, working. Okay, I think that you can use this starting point for as a starting point for our next projects. Okay, what I'm going to do next is okay, I will show you something in the game. Look. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a client command which you can use in your chat window. And then when you run this command, I would like to handle it, and I would like to send some event from the client to the server, and then I would like to print it on the server. So this is the part when I will show you how you can send some data from the client through the network to the server. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a command, let's say command save. with some parameters. And when I run this command, to open chat windows, you have to just press tab, key T. So when I run this command, I'm going to handle it. Then I'm going to I'm going to emit some event from the client to the server, and then I'm going to handle it on the server side, and I'm going to print it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do in the next few minutes. Okay. So in our resource on client resource start function, I would like to register a client function. It's I'm doing it by calling api.register command. As you can see, the first argument is a command name, the second is handler, and the third is the mode. So I would like to add the command save, and I'm going to create a handle for that. So the handle is, or action handler, looks like looks like this. The first argument is source, which is integer. The second argument is some list of objects which are arguments. And the third argument is a string. Okay, so we have three arguments here. Now let's create a handle. I don't like this lambda expressions in C#. I haven't got used to them. It's like source arguments draw. Okay, and that's how the lambda looks like. Okay, what we are going to do is we're going to at first we are going to display a chat message with message consists of arguments that we put. So if we type, let's say /save, if we tap something like that, I would like, this is my command name, those are my arguments. The first one is with index 0 is the word hello, and the second argument with the index 1 is word with exclamation mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print it to print a chat message with consists of those two words. So at first I'm going to create a string variable let's call it message, and because this is a list of object, I would like to join the strings using space as the separator. I can use join function where the first argument is the separator and the second argument is our collection of objects that we want to join. I would like to join all of the arguments. So this is my message, and now it's time to trigger chat event. So to display a chat message, we just call the method trigger event with, and I would like to call chat add message. And I would like to pass some arguments here. Sorry, new argument. So I'd like to pass message. Let's say yes, message. Sorry, not message. Said. Okay, now it's time to ensure that that the command works. So let's rebuild the solution and let's run FiveM. Sorry for running FiveM every time, but it slows down my computer. I will show you now. I mean, I will show you where is the problem. I think that the final solution will take us another 20 minutes. So now we are very close to finish today's topic. So if you have a question, you can just write me on the. You can just leave me it on the top on the chat, and I will answer to them later. Okay, I forgot to restart my plugin. Okay, let's try to. Oh, as you can see, when I type slash, my command save appeared. Let's try this message. Okay, someone went wrong. Okay, here I made a typo here, chat add message. Okay, let's rebuild the project and let's restart. As you can see, uh, everything works as we expected. I mean, the chat message was printed. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pass the data from the client side and I'm going to handle it on the server side. So I think that's the very interesting part because it's a very common case. Okay, let me think. To pass the data to the server side, we can just use. We have to use. Okay, we can use the method called trigger server event. And let me check what is. As you can see, the first argument is the event name, and the next arguments are just arguments of this event. So I would like to introduce some namespace for my events. So I use BC as namespace. It comes from better coding. Yes, so BC, and let's name the event as store message. Okay, that's my event. And I would like to pass only one argument to the event. It is the message. And that's all what you need to do on the client side. Let me copy this function. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create an event handler for this event. I'm doing this similar to this one, just by adding another event handler. So event handlers map with key and I'm going to add a listener for this event. But there is a very important thing here, and I will explain it to you in a moment. Okay, this time. Sorry, it's really hard for me to thinking in English and speaking in English. It's not my mother language. So when I'm speaking in English and thinking how to and what to say, I'm not able to write a code. So that's why I'm writing slower than I could. Okay, new action, and this time in this case, as you can see, as you noticed probably, the first argument that that is being passed to my method is the player that that emitted the event. So taking information from the by taking information from the player, you can ensure you can get the information which player sends this event. Okay, so let's write some debug message here to ensure that we made everything correct so far. Got the message. Okay, let's test those pair of plugins by rebuilding the solution. Let's restart. And now when we type save command, we should see okay, this when we type the save command, we should see chat message, then the server event should be triggered. It should be handled by this handle, store message handle, and this line should be written on the screen. I mean, chat store server, got message from player name. Okay, I have already reloaded. Yes, one more time, and I'm ready for test. Okay, as you can see, I made a mistake here. Why? Okay, trigger server event. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. What I forgot is now I remember. What I forgot is that I have to write here something like from source. Yeah, from source. And now, okay, I don't know how does it work. I need to read about it, but yeah, I remember that I should use something like this from source. It will make that our player is being filled up from source of the event. Okay, let's rebuild our solution. And let's restart. Okay. Yeah. As you can see, we got the message, "Hello world, my friends from player Better Coding." Yeah, that's the name of my player. Okay, I think that we finished the fourth part. or third or fourth part of our tutorial, and we'll have the only one thing to do for today. It is how to make a MySQL connection and how to connect to MySQL from C#. Okay, let me make a commit here. Passing event or data from client to server by emitting events. Okay. You can find all of the source code here on my GitLab. The link you can find in the description of the video. What you have to do is just you have to choose the branch, today's branch, and you have all of the source code here. If you don't want to miss further videos like this, you can just subscribe to my channel, and you will get the notification when I am going to record the next stream. Okay, so the last part for today is I almost drank all of the water. So the last part for today is to connect to MySQL database. Okay. So okay, let me close the game. Okay, the first thing is how how to install MySQL database. So for development purposes, I recommend to you use a XAMPP server. It contains everything that you need. It contains PHP, it contains database. That's the fastest way to install and configure MySQL database for your FiveM purposes. Of course, for production environment, I recommend to you to perform a manual installation of MySQL database, and if you are interested in it, I can make a video describing that topic. Okay, so when you install XAMPP, you can just open a XAMPP control panel, and the only thing you have to do is just to start MySQL database. My MySQL database is already running, so that's why I got this message, this error. The second tool you need is some tool that allows you to view your database, and that allows you to execute some commands on database. In my case, I would prefer MySQL Workbench, which is a free tool that allows me to connect to MySQL database, and it allows me to I will show you in practice maybe. Okay, I have already prepared because I don't want to do my all of my tutorials on one user called root. I have prepared the user a sandbox for tutorial purposes. Okay, as you can see, I have already made today's example, but I will do it one more time from scratch. Okay. Okay, the first thing is let's delete table if exists. I'm going to create a table message, but if the table already exists, I would like to delete it. But it is in my case. Let me check the table if it exists. Yes. Sorry, drop. Okay. As you can see, the command was executed. So drop table if exists. Now it's time to create the table for our messages. So create table message. I prefer to use singular names like message, not messages. Okay, so the first column is some identifier. It's integer, auto increment. I think it's written like that. I'm Oracle guy, so I don't use MySQL too often, so I need to look for yes, for example here, and auto increment and primary key. Okay, so that's our identifier column. Now let's add a column called player name. Parker, let's with length 200, and let's add message text column with the length of 2000, let's say. Okay, as you can see, my table was created. You can run the command by pressing Ctrl return or just pressing pressing those sign. Okay, let's add some messages to our table. Because my ID column is marked as auto increment, I can just leave it, and I can just pass only two values. Unknown one, message one, okay, unknown two, message two. Okay, let's make a select from the table. As you can see, we have two records in the table. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we just want to connect. Let me for a moment. Okay. Sorry for a moment, I read something. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I just want to make a MySQL connection to from my C# script. To do this, I'm going to open ChatStore server, and at first I would like to test MySQL connection. At first, and I will show you how to test this MySQL connection. Okay, we can do it synchronously or asynchronously. If you want to do this asynchronously, you have to just add the task async clause and task here. Okay, and to make a MySQL connection, first you have to prepare the connection string. It looks, in my case, it looks like here. I will add it to the scripts. I think that I will that I gave you all of whole method because it's very useful. Okay, so when we have connection string, as you can see, here is the name of the server. You can also use here is the name of database server. You can use also IP address here. Here is your database user, my database name, the database port, and the password of the user. In the next video, I will show you how to pass those values from FiveM configuration files, not directly from the script. And it's much better solution because you can release your plugin, you can sell your plugin, you can give someone your plugin, and without specifying some constant data in it. Okay, the next thing is to make a connection. So okay, but before that, the first thing what we should do is we should add some support for connecting to MySQL. To do that, you should add a reference, and in the assembles you should find MySQL data and just mark it. As you can see, MySQL data appeared here. So now you are ready to make a MySQL connection. So one moment. Okay, so MySQL connection. Takes connection string. Let me I don't like this Windows this Microsoft auto completion mechanism is very irritating. It's very irritating. Okay, so I prepared connection. At the end, I'm going to close the connection. At the end, I'm going to close the connection. Okay, I'm gonna add some debug message here. Connecting to the database. Disconnected. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some try-catch clause here. To catch all exception that occurred here. I will fix it later, but I'm going. But I don't. If I got the exception here, whole my script stopped. No, whole server stopped. So I don't want. I want to protect my server, and I don't want to stop it if I made a mistake. So that's why I put everything in try catch clause. If I find a better solution in the future, I will share with you. Okay, what next? The first thing is just to open the connection. You can use open or open async. It doesn't matter. If you use open async, you should use await method here. Okay, open async. Then let's prepare some SQL statement. That's my okay. So my SQL test SQL statement is, let's say, select count from message. That's my test select because I want to assure that connection with my database works. Yeah, okay, it works. Okay, so I have my test SQL, and now it's time to create the command and then to run it. So it's MySQL command. Is equals to new MySQL command with connection and with SQL and connection. Okay, and now we can run the command. Because the result of my command is a scalar, it's a integer, which is integer or long, which is a scalar, so I can use execute for scalar method. Here I can also use async. If I want to get the result, I should write await, and now I have okay. That's how I can get a number of messages So I await for execute scalar async, then I cast the result to long, and that's all. And okay, so let's print debug. Total messages stored in database is messages no. Okay. I need to get some water. My glass is empty. Okay, guys, I think that's all. We're ready to make a test. So what I expect now is I have just rebuilt the solution. As you can see, there is more files which were put to output folder. All of them are associated with this MySQL data reference, the dependency of it. So what I'm expecting, as you can see, I run test MySQL connection on my resource on my resource stat method on my resource stat method. So what I expect is that when I restart my plugin, I should there should appear the message with this message should appear. I mean, total messages stored in database with the number 2. And if we got this message, it means that the connection works. So let's try to restart. Yeah, as you can see, we have connecting to database message, then we have total messages stored in database 2, and disconnected, and then we got the message that the resource was loaded. So everything works like a charm. So the last thing for today. So let me commit this this stage of our tutorial as testing MySQL connection, and I'm going to add one more file. It's this file. Give me a second. I'm going to add scripts.SQL files. Script-message. Oh no, just script. No. Okay, look. I added this file too. And one more thing. I also added my connection string that you can use in your projects. Okay, so I think that's all. One more thing. If you want to create a database like mine, you can also use those scripts. I will give it for you. If you have any ideas what topic I can prepare for you for the next time, please leave me the comments. Please leave me the message, or just write in the comments, somewhere in the comments, or you can just leave me the message on Discord. Okay, I gave you all of them. But I think that you don't need these tables. Yes, I think that you need only this. Okay, testing MySQL connection. Okay, and now is the last part of our tutorial, which is I'm going to store those messages. I mean, I'm going to store the message that I got here into database. And to do that, I will change this function a little. Or I will make a copy of this function. Okay, so how to store the message? The first thing is I would like to get I would like to display the message like before, and I would like to call store chat message into database. What I'm going to pass to the method is the player name and message. I'm going to await for it, or not. No, I don't want to await for it, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it async. Okay. I'm gonna copy whole method here. The cleaner example I'm going to do in the future, but now for the tutorial purposes I just make a copy of that function, and I will show you what you should change here. Or even better, I'm going to change that function. Oh no, I'm going to create the new one. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I have my connection, open it. Now I need to have some insert statement. My insert statement looks like looks like this one. But instead of passing the arguments directly, like here, okay, I could do something like this. But it's not recommended because of SQL injection. Okay, so instead of that, I would like to pass some parameter. So that's our placeholder for parameter. Then I'm going to prepare the command insert statement. Now I need to fill the parameters. Add I will try to add with value. So the parameter name, first parameter name is player name, and the value is player name. And the second parameter is message, and the value is message. Then the result of insert command is nothing. So we can just execute. It's nothing, or is just the number of rows that were affected of update. So instead of using execute scalar async, we can use execute non-query async method. And as you can see, it returns integer, which returns the number of rows affected. That's all. I think that our method is ready to test. At the end, we can do one more thing. Look, we just called this method test MySQL connection. I can rename it as display total number of messages. And instead of calling it in my own resource stat method, I would like to call it I'm going to await for okay, I cannot do it here. I would like to call this method here after I insert oh, I don't have to await for it. Okay, so after I insert my new message, I would like to display the total number of messages. Okay, so it's time for the final test. Let's rebuild the solution. Okay, and what we expect now is when we restart our plugin, we shouldn't see those messages because we should see one more thing. Where is my on resource? Okay, so let's add this display method as it was a few minutes ago. So now, oh fuck, oops, I closed the server. Sorry, we need to wait for server. But what we expect when we start our plugin is that we see the message that we have two messages in database. Then when we run our game and when we run our save command with some message, we should see another message in my here in the database. We should see that the message is will be stored here, and we should also see that there are 3 messages in the database. Okay, so let's start our plugin. As you can see, we have total messages stored in database 2. And let's run FiveM. It's very slow and I can't stand for it. Okay, what's the problem? Okay, it's connecting. I'm very impatient. I really want to see the result. I hope that we made everything everything okay, everything correct. We'll see. Okay, it's time. So let me open. As you can see, you have to press F8 to see this console. As you can see, my plugin was loaded, and now it's time to call save with some parameters. Oh, just my friends. Okay, and it's the final. It's a very important moment. Final test. Enter. Okay, as you can see, I got the message here, and yes, what you can see here is that we have row inserted to the database, and the total messages stored in database is equal to 3. And this, as you can see, we can just query our database, and yes, the message was stored in database. Yeah, so we did it. Okay, guys, that's all for today. Let me commit the final solution for you. The final solution: inserting data to database. If you have any questions about this tutorial, you can leave me a comment. You can write me on Discord, wherever you want. If you have any idea about topics for further videos, I really appreciate it, and I will prepare the video for you. If you don't want to miss any further videos about writing plugins for FiveM, you can just subscribe to my channel. I think that I warmed up a little, so I will be doing I'll be writing much faster. I mean, faster and faster. Maybe that's what I wanted to say. Okay. I recommend to you to use this tool, which called Double Commander. It's very convenient to use. What I can recommend to you is to use also a source tree, which is the JIT manager that I prefer. Okay, so that's all for today. Let me check if there are some questions or not. If there are, I will answer to you. Okay, there was one question. From Andrzej, and I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to solve his problem. Okay, so thank you very much, and see you in a few days.